Hello.
Hello, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Can you hear me? I've come through. You can hear what I am saying.
Yes.
Well, that's good. It would be
That
annoying
is good.
to figure out why you can't hear me and then take time to figure out what's wrong and why it's not working.
Yes.
But it's the big one. It's 200.
Which I do actually have to say, can you hear the lawnmower in the background?
No, I cannot. I've got my fan on, but it's under my desk, so I don't think you should be able to hear it.
Can you hear my portable air conditioner in the background?
No.
Okay, well then we're sweet. Because I have both of those things. My brother's mowing the lawn, and I have a portable aircon going right now. I bought it today. It's alright.
Yeah.
It's okay. It cools down the room well. Kind of. I think my room might be a bit too big.
That's the problem with this time of year when I'm recording, because I have to close my fans, close my windows, and like turn my fans off and everything. So there's like no outside noise, and it just gets really, really hot. And it's just a pain to deal with. But now that I've got a fan that I can put under my desk, it's actually better because I'm not.
Yeah.
So.
What have you been up to? How was your weekend?
Yeah, it was fine. It's it's back at uni this week, which isn't great.
Yeah.
It is what it is, and I've just been thinking about that. This is going to be. I've done. This will be 200 podcasts this week. Like,
big deal.
It's a lot, yeah, and I'm still waiting a couple things to put on at the end of the episode, but I haven't gotten the ones that I thought I would have by now. So I'm gonna have to. I've got a few. I got yours, the one that I asked you to send in. I've got a few other ones. But there's still a few I'm waiting for at the moment.
No, I'm gonna be looking at booking my flights to Japan tonight, which will be cool.
Oh yeah, when are you going?
That'll be in February.
Oh, February, okay.
With some friends, but yeah, they're like one group of mates that I'm going with are flying with Singapore Airlines, and they're stopping in like Manila, which like fuck that, which like I would do if I was doing it with the rest of the group, but my other friends that I'm going with are more keen to fly direct, and they're like, look, $1,200 return. We can fly from Sydney to Haneda and then Haneda back to Sydney. And it's a 9-hour flight instead of it being a 17-hour trip. And then, so it's about half the time.
Yeah.
And then one of my friends is like talking about stopping in Hong Kong and then Taipei, and it's going to be like a 26-hour trip, like just there. And I was like, all right, well then we'll see you, and you'll miss out on like a full day of Japan, but okay. But I'm thinking of flying direct. I can actually afford it because I have a little bit of savings, but also I went to the casino on Saturday night in the Gold Coast. I went to the casino and I won like $1,200. So I won $1,000. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna. I went in with $200, right? And I'm like, I'm willing to lose this because I wasn't drinking, so I wasn't spending money on alcohol. So it was basically like my alcohol money.
Right. Okay.
And then I lost 100 pretty quickly. I'd lost like 40 into slots, like pokies. And then I lost 40 on blackjack. And then I lost 20 on roulette. So there's $100 gone. I had $100 left. And I was like, fuck. And we're leaving, and I was like, oh, I'll play this one and machine. I put $20 in. It was a pokey. I hit a major jackpot, which is about $600. And I was only betting 50 cents. So I was like, fuck yeah. So I just won $600. So now I'm only up $500. And I was like, sweet, I'm up $500. Because because I'd already lost 100, so I'm up $500. And then I played another pokey and got up like another $100, and I was like, "This is cool. Like the slots is what I'm winning on because the tables I sucked ass." And then there was quite a lot of money for me, and I was like so stoked. And then we went out to the clubs, but I didn't go clubbing. I went out with them, but I didn't pay entry. It was a free club, and then I also didn't buy a drink, and I just stood there, and then I was like, "I want to go." And then we went and played the pokies at like a pub instead of the clubs. There's like that one on Cavill Ave. And they were like, let's play pokies. And I was like, let's just go play pokies if we don't know what we're doing. So we went in there where it was warm and sat down, and I put $20 in this machine, lost it. And then I put $20 into another machine, turned that into like, I don't know, $60. So I'm up 40 again. And I'm like, cool. I'm up a good bit of money. And then we went all the way back to the hotel, which is a far walk away. We walked to the tram and then got the tram to this truck. But our hotel was right next to the casino. And I'd done so much walking that day. I think I did 41 kilometers of walking, which is an entire marathon. And because I worked all day before that, and I walk for work. That's what I do. So that was the furthest I'd ever walked in a day. And we were in bed in the casino. No, in the hotel. Shittiest hotel. It's 3:30 in the morning, and John's like, let's go back to the casino. And everyone was like, no. He's like, I want to go back to the casino. I'm not going alone. And then me and Hamish said,
3 a.m.
3:30 a.m.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
And we're all in bed. We're all in bed. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I will come back out to the casino. Me and Hamish went back out, literally not to gamble, but just to, I was like, I don't want to miss out if he wins big. And he's going to be putting big money because he was up $400 from the pokies in like the median time. So like, he was already up $400. So I'm like, I know he's betting big. And me and Hamish weren't drinking. We were just hanging out, chilling out. We went to Pack Fair earlier in that night, and that was fun. We just walked around there. But yeah, we went to went back to the casino, walked back in there. I was like, why the fuck are we coming back here, Hamish? Like, what's the point? And it was because our friend said he'd give me and my mate $20 each to gamble if we came back with him. And I was like, yeah, look, we'll go back with you. But we want the $20 each. But like, we'll go back. We'll come back. So we went back. He's like, I'm playing table games. And I'm like, and Hamish, all Hamish wanted was the free hot chocolate. He got 8 free hot chocolates. He drank 8.
Oh my god.
In like an hour, he drank 8. I drank 2.
Oh,
they were free.
I think what I get with hot chocolates is depending on like how strong they are, I can only drink like 1.
Yeah,
like, it really
strong. I had like 1.5. My stomach started cramping. I couldn't eat the second. I couldn't drink the second one. It literally was hurting. And my other mate basically came straight over to us while I was like, let's go hot chocolates, and then we'll sit down on these machines. And Hamish was down all of his money. He'd also lost $50 of my money that I gave him to gamble for me because I felt bad. I gave him the money. I gave him $50 because I felt bad, and I said, go gamble it. And he lost it. And I was like, okay, about $600 at this point. I'd probably gambled entirely maybe $250, and I was at like 800, so I was up like 600. No, I gambled $150, so I was up like 700, 600. Anyway, I was up a lot. And then, so I felt like a little generous. I gave him $50. And then my other friend, who was being a little annoying the whole night, and then also has already lost all his money, comes and then made all his money back, came over to us after he got off the table games, and we just sat down on a slot next to each other. So we're just going to hang here, drink our chocks. We're not drinking. It's not like a crazy night for us. We'll just put $20 into this machine each, the 20 that he gave us, just so we're here company with him and pass time. And then he walks over and we're like, it's 5 minutes. We're just going to play this and then come over to you. He's like, I lost it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I lost $400. I'm like, how did you lose $400? And he's like, I lost I lost 250 in blackjack, and then I lost 150 on baccarat. Man, that's so insane. Like that's so hectic. You gamble that much. And he's like, yeah, it sucks. I'm like, yeah, rightio. And I'm sitting down on this machine, and Hamish is sitting next to him. And he goes, you guys are boring. He says like we're being boring because we weren't drinking. And then he gets a phone call from a girl. this Vietnamese girl that he met in Japan. So he gets a phone call, and the second he turns his back and starts walking away, I hit the major jackpot on this machine, which is really rare. So I hit 2 in one night, which is like insanely rare. And that was like another $650. And all the money on the machine already. I got like $750 out of it. So I won like $1,400 that night. And I just cashed out. And I was like, okay, I'm going home. So yeah, now I can book the flight to Japan. Well, I could already. I just didn't want to. But I bought a portable aircon for my room. Because I'm like, man, fuck it. I'm not a huge gambler. That's massive for me. I'm like, I'm spending my money. Put $1,000 in savings, and then I really want to buy the new iPhone, but because like I have like an older Samsung that's starting to die on me, and I've never had a new phone, and I've never had an iPhone. Like I had an iPhone 4, which was my mum's hand-me-down. That's when I was like 10, and it worked for 2 weeks, and then I went back to like brick phone.
Yeah. My first phone was a brick phone.
Oh, my first phone was brick phones. I had like my older sister's BlackBerry. It's just my mum got a new phone. She's like, the iPhone was shattered and destroyed, and she's like, do you want it? I don't think it'll really work. And I'm like, yeah, and I tried to use it. I just couldn't. We're back. We're at home. They want to go to Brisbane on a night out on Saturday. They want to go for my friend Riel's birthday. He loves Fortitude Valley. I kind of hate Fortitude Valley. He wants to go clubbing, and I said, I might drink this time, but I kind of don't want to. I might probably because I'm more fun when I drink, but also don't want to get hungover. And the NRL Grand Final's on next Sunday, and I kind of wanted to watch that like really bad. I'll figure it out. Yeah. But basically, that was the weekend.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode about the movies with William Fletcher. As per usual, I am your host, William Fletcher, and I am joined this week by Mr. Harry Jobson, as I am on so many occasions.
That's 2 Benjamins, baby. That's 2 big ones.
And this week is it's the big one that I've been alluding to because it is episode 200. I don't know how I've made 200 of these. It's ridiculous. It's insane that I've been doing this for like 4 years now. I mean, Harry, do you have anything you would like to say?
About 2 Scundo. About 2... Yeah, look, just talk about longevity, right? When we talk about the GOATs, the greatest of all time, I'm myself a sports fan. We talk about longevity as being a huge fact, and I believe it to be Michael Jordan, even though he doesn't have the longevity of LeBron James. But like, look at Messi, man. Longevity. Look at Cameron Smith in the NRL. Longevity. So when we look at these greats, we look at how they hit their peak and for how long. And we're seeing 200 episodes of at the movies with William Fletcher. I'm your host, William Fletcher. We're seeing 200 episodes. That's more than a lot of TV shows. That's more than a lot of beloved series. I think The In-Betweeners, one of my favorite shows, only had something like 18 episodes.
Yeah, I think it's 3 series, 6 episodes each, so not much.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just 200 can be seen as a sign in angel numbers. Only up from here. I do have a little bit of a pre-recorded like end card. I believe end card or start card or end card.
End card. I'll be placing them at the end.
Okay. So yeah, you get my more concise thoughts, but yeah, 2 Scundo.
200 episodes. So at the end of this episode, once we've covered the film we're going to talk about today, I've basically, from various former guests who've done the show over the years, I've gotten a bunch of them to record like a couple minute long thing, and I'll just play those in succession of each other, but that'll be at the very end, just them talking about the show, which is arguably self-indulgent of me to ask people to do.
Yeah, you're a real narcissist. You're a well-known narcissist, William.
Yeah, off recording this. I'm playing a character when I'm on recording this. Off camera, I am just hurling insults at Harry. I'm calling
He's
him
like
every.
He's like Chevy Chase on the set of Community. He's like an actual problem.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like
but
Lizzo to her backup dancers.
but yeah. So I've got a bunch of those. They'll all play at the end though. So I mean, if you just want to listen to those, just like skip to the end. But I don't know why you would, because this week we're going to be talking about a real classic. A real classic of cinema. The episode, we did have to make some changes to what we are going to be covering. Plans changed. We had something else planned that is now not going to happen for a while, at least, if ever. Honestly, it might not ever happen now. I don't know. But it's something that we won't be able to do for a good period of time. So I figured I'll just change it. We'll cover a different film. And I figured Jaws would be a good one. It's a classic. It's the 50th anniversary of Jaws. And it's a film that I have a lot of sort of personal connections to it, like as a film. So I think covering it for a monumental moment in the podcast's history, I think is worth doing. But so yeah, before we get into the film proper, Harry, I assume you would have seen Jaws before doing this, like as a film person, as someone who likes films. I assume you would have seen this at some point,
No, I've
right?
actually no, I have no.
I was
And
gonna
that
say, because
kind of goes into
I
what I
remember
was going
you've
to
never
speak
seen
about.
Indiana
Yeah,
Jones when we covered that.
yeah, but that's because it's boring.
I, I remember you being very positive of
I know the
Lost
first one,
Crusade.
and then yeah, and the
The
Last Crusade. But like
Yeah, the other ones, yeah, aren't pretty. We don't talk about the
there
other ones.
there are like two in the four that are just kind of they're two in the five, three in the five that just kind of suck. But like anyway,
There's a couple we don't talk about. The good ones are very good. Yeah. Okay, so you had seen Jaws. Okay.
yeah. So I'll take this as my turn. Jaws as a film doesn't really focus on it because there's a lot of debate on whether or not it should be seen as like a horror or not. I
I
don't think
was
it's a
Yeah.
horror film. I
No, I
truly
wouldn't say it's a
don't.
horror film.
And the reason is because people might say Alien's a horror, and Alien is a bit more horror.
I'd say
And
Alien's a horror, yeah, but
but
it's sort
the
of
different being is if Jaws is just kind of Moby Dick with suspense. Like if we're being,
mm,
it's more about like an omnipotent creature that's just doing what's within its nature. The fact that
yeah,
humans get mad at sharks attacking people and they get mad at the shark is just ridiculous. It's a shark.
it's
Like
ridiculous. Yeah,
it's a big fish that is born with a like a predetermined destiny to eat, and
yeah,
sometimes it eats the
it's
wrong thing. This one just
yeah,
liked the taste of humans, but you're
it
swimming in
did,
the
yeah,
shark's home.
but it's yeah, no, it's ridiculous. The Like I remember after this film came out, the like shark attacks, like well, shark like killings and cullings increased like exponentially so
Well,
because of this
yeah,
film.
and that's
It's
something I wanted
like
to talk about.
yeah, it's
It's
ridiculous.
it's the way that this film sort of uses reality to because like yeah, it's Jaws and it's about the shark, but the
Yeah.
shark is seen in a 2 hour. How long is that? 2.5 hour film.
Just over
Two,
2 hours. 124
2 hour.
minutes it says here. So
Okay,
yeah.
so in the 2 hour film, we see the shark for 4 minutes. 4 minutes of screen time, roughly. The rest of the film is about the unknown and the fear of that. I mean, our main character has a huge fear of water. And I don't
Mm.
think it's about the fear of water, it's the fear of the unknown. He has incredible fear of things being unsafe. I mean, like talk about the swings or the fireplace and that sort of thing. This film used that reality because, again, in things like Alien, it's kind of about the alien, right? Like it's grotesque and it's about building suspense, but it's more of a horror because of what the film is about or how it uses its fear element. I mean, Predator is a good example as well. These are highly intelligent things or like omnipotent beings that are seeking out to harm. This shark, not very highly intelligent. It's just kind of a
No.
shark. This big great
Mm.
white shark, and they're real, and they're in the water. when you're swimming. And that is terrifying. The amount of times I saw this film as a kid and thought, I'm never going to the beach ever again. But it does that. It creates real fear. I genuinely still have a huge fear of deep water. Like deep, unknown water. It is so because it's fear of it's the fear of knowing that there is probably danger in there, or something is going to be dangerous to do, but like doing it anyway. And that was a large factor in the main character in the film's thing. He wanted to shut the beach, but it was going to be 4th of July, our biggest summer ever, and it's really just sort of cruel in the way that it is so heavily impacted, like genuinely the world outside of the film. I mean, the amount of people that not only have fears of deep water and unknown, but fears of sharks, fears of certain like scores. That score is hectic. When I was talking to some friends the other day about what is the greatest film score, like what is single-handedly the best score in a film ever, and the best individual the
individual piece
sequence
of music.
Individual piece of design music for that. And I have a different opinion. I don't think it's the Jaws, the no. I don't think it's that. Personally, I think it's Duel of Fates. I think that is the best that I've ever heard. But that's just because of like how hectic Duel of Fates is and kind of how cool Star Wars is. But yeah, and just before I shut up, I did also want to the fact that we only see the shark for 4 minutes lends to sort of how it uses the unknown, because that wasn't the point of the film. Obviously, it's adapted from a book, but I'm pretty sure the screenplay had a whole lot more shark, and the original direction from Spielberg wanted a whole lot more shark, but they just could not get the shark animatronic working because salt water was just fucking with it non-stop, and it just looked really bad, and they just could not get it to work, especially back then. So they weren't going to CGI in a shark, make it look somewhat real. So things like the use of the barrels in the third sequence of the third act is really good at showing, there's the shark there. The theme, the Jaws theme, is incredibly good at showing danger. And the reason we know it's danger is from the opening scene in the film, where we see it's high stakes because we lose a life, but the stakes only get higher when it becomes children, when it becomes characters we know, and when it becomes our protagonist, who's the one who's facing the beast. The first scene is one of the most terrifying. It is haunting how she goes out for the swim. She just gets screamed and tossed around, and then it's dead quiet, as if she.
Oh man,
it just falls dead silent on the black water. It's just it's like she disappeared and no one knew.
To get into the film, it's I recently saw this at the cinema, 50th anniversary re-release. It was a packed cinema. We had nice leather seating we were in. It was great. Just the sound design, and being surrounded by the sound design and the score. It just, again, the cinema is the best place to see things because it really highlights how good certain elements of films are. And that opening scene, it's genuinely one of the most scary scenes I can think of in a film, honestly. Just because we don't see any of it. That's the bit that gets to me, is we don't see any of it.
Yeah, that's almost scarier than just seeing the shark, because when you see the shark, it kind of looks goofy. The animatronic shark does not look as it looks okay, but a lot of the fear and a lot of and it is built from the unknown and the fact that it's unknown, and that we know it's a shark, but just it's so much scarier not showing it. And I think that works so well. I take a look at Jordan Poole's Nope. No, not Jordan Poole. Fucking
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele. Jordan Poole's an NBA player. Jordan Peele's No. Sorry, my head wisecracks. It's been a big weekend. Jordan Peele's Nope is heavily inspired from Jaws, to the point where if you look at the film a lot until the third act, where I think the alien loses a lot of its threat because you see it. It is largely unknown lurking through the clouds.
Yeah.
And that works so much well to build that like terror in your chest. That anxiety.
No. I think there are moments of Nope that are absolutely terrifying. It would not be good. The film would not be as beloved if like that was the if like that was the fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like we would not be talking about this film 50 years later. We would see it as like a cheesy, crappy like shark movie from the 70s. But like the fact that we're not shown any of like we do not see the shark until a good way into the film. Like we see it like we see like the fins and everything, but besides that we don't get a proper look at the shark until the famous line, where he says, "You're gonna need a bigger boat." Like that's when we first see it proper. There is a bit sort of earlier on in the film where we see it just underneath the water, and like that's pretty fucking scary. In terms of like when I was a kid, because I saw this film as a kid, and it fucking terrified me. Like it terrified the shit out of me. Because when you're a kid, you get scared by things. And this is a film for me that I have a real connection to, because this was always one of my dad's favorite films, and he would talk about it. We watched it together a few times. So it's like a film I hold a real personal connection to because of that, and because of what it sort of means to me in sort of my own personal life. But I think even beyond that fact, I think it is just such an incredible film, because I hadn't seen it in close to 10 years. Like I truly cannot remember the last time I watched Jaws. It probably would have been when I was still in high school, and that was a long time ago now. But I mean, to lay my cards out on the table, I think this is like one of the best films ever made. So I'm going to be very, very positive about this. I don't know where you'll land with this, Harry, but I'm going to be very, very positive.
Yeah, it will be positive. I don't know if it is as positive, because this film, like, genuinely still strikes a bit of a chord with me, in the sense that I can never be comfortable watching it. Because it does just ruin swimming. Like, I can't even enjoy pools for like a week after we watch Jaws. And I know that I'm a grown man and I should be able to like control that. But fuck off, I don't want to. It is too scary for like, and it's kind of one of the reasons why I don't watch horror films. I can watch other shark films, because like other shark films have never done it like Jaws has done it. They're entirely theatricalized in the way that they sort of operate. The Shallows was like where she gets stuck on like a
that's not
bad. A buoy.
Like
that's not a bad film for what it is. It's kind of a bottle like it.
Well, I think she gets stuck on a rock, and then I think she like moves to a buoy or buoy later on. I think. But
and it's a terrifying like situation to think.
Oh
about.
no,
like,
absolutely, yeah, it does. But get into this real. Like
it's more of those like I have to get from here to there, and this is in my way sort of film. Whereas this film is more about sort of overcoming psychological fear, in the way that it is a lot more within your own head than the film sort of leads on. Our protagonist, I literally watched it yesterday, and I've forgotten his name.
Brody.
What's his? Yeah, Brody. Our protagonist Brody is like incredibly, and I mentioned it earlier. He has his his fears. He's a safety guy. He's a, police chief. And he's incredibly cautious. We see this as, I think largely as well. He is not an islander. They do a really big. There's a real big emphasis on being an islander in the film, and I'm not talking about chill, bro. Let's go get some chips. I'm talking more like I'm talking more like the Amity Island. But I do think that we are sort of him throughout the film. We're also scared of the unknown and scared of the fact that we need to face this beast, whatever it is in your life at the moment. In his life, it's a literal shark. And I think when a film can make you think about how it pertains to your actual life, then it's done a really good job. And sort of what message it carries. But it is so not being able to use the shark as much as they were hoping.
Yeah.
Has to be the biggest blessing in
Oh my
Hollywood ever.
God, absolutely.
Like in
yeah.
film here, because it is genuinely a stroke of genius what Spielberg was able to do with suspense here. And suspense is the name of the game, but it is so like it's so brutal as the stakes get higher with each kill, because you start with a girl that's relatively unknown that we don't really know, and it's like you feel bad for her friends and everything and her, but you're like, it's a human being, so the stakes are already quite high. And then it moves on to children doing swim training, and that's brutal. And then it moves on to characters that we know. I do think and then again it moves on to our protagonist, which is the hardest one to sort of justify. You never want to see your protagonist, go, unless, like, depending on the film you're watching, but largely the protagonist is the one that the audience is going to connect with the deepest and the most. But I do also think that, like, and as much as I do love sort of how that works in filmmaking and just like how pure that is and how well that is used against the audience to make us feel anxious. I wouldn't even call it fear. I'd call it anxiety. It is anxiety. This film uses that against you as a viewer in a way that's abusive and I do really enjoy like watching it as a film for what it is, but it's too it's too realistic for its own good,
right?
In a way of how it affects people outside of the film. And I said that a few times, but I mean, like, again, you watch this film and you go like, I can't go to the beach tomorrow. Like, fuck that. But I can watch Predator, and I'm not too worried about me going out in the bush at night that there's going to be a predator. Like, and I can watch can watch Alien, and I'm not too worried that there's an alien creature. You know what I mean? And I think the reason I'm using those as examples is because those are sort of the closest that we get, the sort of lurking like underlying fear of this monster, the monster movie, if you will.
I think I definitely think it's down to because sharks are like real. Like sharks are real things, whereas like the xenomorph in Alien or the Predator and Predator, those are not real. There is something Jaws taps into that is innately quite scary. I mean, I don't like the beach in general, but there is something about there being just like something that I can't see and that I don't know what is there. Is like that's what I find scary. Because we don't see the shark. Like the opening scene, we don't see the shark, and like there's that opening scene. It's late at night. It's dark. There's only the moonlight, and just no like the idea of what's going on underneath it. And I think the film does a good job of sort of slowly giving you bits and pieces of the shark, like showing you, like, well, even they do stuff like showing you get like the POV shots of the shark swimming through the water, for example, and then like there's the scene where it attacks the kid, and you just sort of see the fins of the shark as it's sort of twisted. Like you only see bits of it until later on when you see the whole thing properly. And I think that what makes it so effective is the fact that we don't see anything, but also that this is one of the this is a very popular film, but it is quite violent and like bloody for like a big
There's a
blockbuster
lot of
film.
gore.
It is insane. I remember my dad telling me once that he saw this film when he was like 6 years old, and I'm like, I I would have fucking not slept for a
I,
week if I saw this at 6 years old. Like this
that's
is,
about how old I was when I first saw the film. Yeah.
ugh,
I would
nuts.
have been about 5 or 6. I remember being really young, and I had school, and I was talking to my friends about it. And I would have had to have been in either kindy or year one because it was at a specific school that I ended up leaving in year two. So like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I knew which school I was at. I remember having the conversation like I'm never going to the beach again. And I lived in a beach town. We lived like our town. The whole point was the beach. It was really terrifying. Um, and I wasn't able to swim for quite a long time. Like genuinely, I wouldn't. I still don't go past deeper than my like. I will never swim in the ocean where I can't touch, unless I'm at like a jetty or something.
Mm.
Like if I'm at the beach and there's waves and there's sharks and stuff, I'm never going in anywhere where I can't touch the bottom.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely I don't. I see videos of people on like paddle boards or like kayaks, and then just a shark swims next to them, and I'm like, fuck that, fuck that, fuck that. No, like just fuck that. I'm not going anywhere near the ocean.
Yeah,
It needs a lot of people. So this one I can excuse them being like, okay, we really need to deal with this. Um, but I mean, generally speaking, yeah, sharks when they attack, they're not like they don't hunt humans. They're not like one of those animals that like they're animals that actively hunt humans, and sharks are not one of them. Like they don't actively hunt people. To be honest, I don't think many animals do, but like sharks get such a bad rap for one film, and it's just sort of like I remember I read something that when Steve Irwin died, a bunch of people killed like a ton of stingrays, and I'm like, that's literally the opposite of what Steve Irwin would have done. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you guys doing? It's just weird. Just how people like one bad animal encounter, and people were like, we must kill them all, and it's like, no, no, that's not how this works. Actually, we shouldn't do that because it'll just fuck with the ecosystem and the environment. Like, let's not do that. I'd say, but people are not rational.
yeah, no, they never are. And also the the sort of I did want to mention just a bit more on the film. In the third act, which goes like so long, it's like 50 minutes. It's like half the film is like the third act. And it's them like out on the boat gearing up to take on the shark. We sort of are left with the three, like we're left with Brody.
We're left with Brody and we're left with Hooper.
Yeah, Hooper. Sorry, I'm so tired. So we're left with Quint, Brody, and Hooper, and our three sort of characters there are so different in the way that they go about things. When we look at like sort of the individual tools that each other brings, one brings like a spear, the other brings what was the device that he brought?
It brings like it's there's like a tracking device they bring
Yeah, a
to like
tracking
fix the
device to
barrel.
and Brody brings a revolver. In sort of the middle,
He
but
just
it's the
whips out his revolver and just starts shooting at the shark in the fucking
yeah.
water. Yeah.
But that's what I mean. He's sort of this middle between like the tracking device is a more sensible new age option. The harpoon, the spear is much more traditional,
Yeah.
and the revolver is just dead center. Like it's that middle of the ground, and the three characters are sort of portrayed like that throughout the rest of the third act.
Yeah.
And the revolver ultimately ends up being a good decision, but
Mm.
and the climax of the shark exploding was phenomenal, but and
Mm.
it's done really well. But
Mm.
The third, I do think it drags, and that's probably my only negative part of the film. I think a bit of the third act not drags in such a negative way, but it is not nearly like the first two acts of the film, where we give them, a lot of fast action, fast dialogue, this. It's a very rare instance in which the third act is much more calm before the storm. It's much more character development between the three. We get more meaningful conversation, and we're sort of left with the fact that the three men are facing the shark.
I will say that I think the stuff when we do see the shark is not as interesting as like the build up to seeing the shark. Like that's the stuff that I like is built. Not the, like I don't have a problem with seeing the shark. It has dated, like it does look rather fake now, but it also it doesn't really bother me. Like that's the thing with the effects is like they're a bit dated on the shark. But I don't actually mind. Like there's something about it that I just sort of ignore. And I think it's just because I like the film so much that I'm able to overlook like something that's very, like it depends. I mean, I guess that sort of depends. Like, can you go with the shark or not? Because it does look very fake.
I really don't mind. I've seen worse, and I think that it's not about the shark specifically. I think the bits where you see the shark looks fake, that's why we only see 4 minutes of it in the entire film.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, that is, because as you were saying, apparently they tested the shark on land and in like fresh water. They didn't test it in salt water, and I'm like,
salt water is what broke it.
Yeah, and I'm like, why would you not test it in salt water before you start like shooting? Like, because you know what I mean? Like, it's like, why would you not test it there? But as you mentioned earlier, it's probably the biggest blessing the film could have gotten because it would not be as good a film if we saw it all the time.
No, for sure, and I think as well, it really helps with the seeing the shark less really allows the director to focus on the filmmaking of what we're seeing. So, I mean, we can talk about probably the most famous dolly zoom ever.
Oh my god, it's incredible. I mean, this is.
But that is the first time I've ever visualized fear. Like, it's the first time I've ever, without showing something scary on scene, that is the first time I've ever seen a visual representation of fear and how to convey that feeling to an audience. Dolly zoom is an incredibly simple prospect. You zoom in while moving backwards.
Yeah, it's I think I mean, this is just one of the best, like, just in terms of like a direction point and how it's crafted. I think this is one of the best films ever. I mean, it's Steven Spielberg. We know Steven Spielberg's a great filmmaker. Like, we don't need to. We're not saying anything controversial by saying he's very good at making films. But yeah, that dolly zoom is like one of the most iconic moments in cinema history, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that's an outrageous take. It's definitely when you think of when you were talking about the way to use a camera and the way to build a scene and create, and when you're talking about just like technical ability in filmmaking, that is it's largely the benchmark. It is what is used as sort of the standard, and it's used as an example of great filmmaking because it's what it is. Again, incredibly simple. Dolly zoom is not a hard thing to execute, but to get it right in such an important feature-length film and to have it not come across as, in a lack of a better term, goofy, because it can look kind of janky if you don't execute it well, and it has to be within the right context of sort of what we're seeing on screen. And that is a really, really well done, just like slow, I guess piece of camera work, because I think it's done practically. It's a manual zoom and move back on a dolly, isn't it? It's not like a. I believe it's a manual zoom while they're casting backwards. So I mean, really well executed. And it seems just like that, like the sort of smaller, more intimate, largely like even just giving us basically the woman that dies as the billboard for the town, Amity Point. Those sort of things are really what it allows the overall film to work a lot better because we're not so distracted by a big mechanical shark where the fear comes from, again, it's underwater, you can't see it, but you know what it is. Like, we know it's a shark, obviously, but the fear comes from an unknown, even though it's a known, but like the fear comes from like an unknown monster, and it allows not only a lot of the character relationships between Brody and his son, and again the core three in the final 50 minutes of the film, but it also allows, and you see some of the most quiet, beautiful shots while they're on the boat there towards the end in the final act, especially as they're all in the boat and you see the barrel start getting dragged.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what a shot. And I think that is done really well. If we were focusing so much on this shark, we would end up with a film like The Meg. And I hate to shit on The Meg, except I don't. Jason Statham stands on a rock and spear. Like, what have you seen The Meg, William? Did we talk about The Meg? We talked
did it
about
on
The
the
Meg.
podcast. Yeah, we did it on the podcast.
Yeah, and like, so listen to that episode 200 now. So it's one of 200, but it does not hold a candle to Jaws. And the issue is shark films forever now are going to be compared to Jaws because Jaws has done it so well, and it is that pinnacle benchmark. I mean, the only one that I've ever seen, I saw as a kid this film called The Reef.
I've heard of that film.
That one got me, not in the way of filmmaking like Jaws did. Jaws is, I can watch it because of its filmmaking, but it got me in just the sheer level of shark attack gore, and the sort of the unknown shark and dealing with that. And I'm glad that it wasn't made in the current standards today, because we would be given a CGI shark.
Oh, this film would be made so much differently now.
You're absolutely right. It would be made so much differently now.
And it would be so much worse because of it, because CGI is like... Because every film is just like, how often do you see... First of all, it would be cheaper, so they will, like, they would absolutely CGI because it would just be cheaper. It would be simpler for them as well. That's the thing, like, it would be simpler for them to do it, and they would show it a lot more, because like, they just wouldn't get that not showing it works better, because like, a lot of I just sort of don't understand that, like, less is more. Like sometimes you watch a film and they just tell you everything. It's like, no, you don't need to do this. Like, literally, just show me something, and just let me take what I want from that. Like, you don't have to tell me everything. And the fear of the unknown. The fear of the unknown is why this film works so well, because we don't see it for however long, and we just don't. Yeah, we don't see any of it really, and that's the bit that gets to me. Is just because I think it's like one of the I think it's one of the most common fears. Something that should scare basically everyone, is the idea of the unknown and not knowing what's there. Like, that's why when you're a kid, the dark scares you because you can't see anything. Like, I used to, I don't know how about you, but I used to be scared of, like, the dark. Like, the dark I found scary.
It's one of those things where you turn the light off in the bathroom and you sprint down the hallway to get back to your room.
And then you fucking dive into bed and get under the covers, fucking hiding.
Yeah. I get that when I go camping, and I love camping. I know what's out in the bush, but just certain sounds that you get where you're just like, is that a person? I'm more scared of a person at night than I am of anything else, to be honest. I'm not worried about animals. I'm out in the bush or anything, especially in Australia. What's going to be there? Like, the worst possible thing that's probably there is a wild boar. And, like, the boar, hopefully you can scare it away. But they're like, relatively, they're only in certain areas, that sort of thing. Like, if you see wild pigs, they probably suck the most. But the most dangerous thing in Australia is, another person. And especially at night in the bush, like what are they doing there? That's terrifying to me. And that's because with an animal, it's known. You know what sort of you're getting yourself into. You can sort of, but the problem with a shark, especially in Jaws, is that with a shark, you're in their house, you're in their territory, you're in their element. You're swimming. You're already fighting for survival swimming. Let alone you're out of your depth and you don't know how the shark is. You don't know how your shark is going to behave. So you're now the victim of whatever this thing wants to do, and it's terrifying.
Yeah, and also it's like you're going into their environment. Like, humans we are not meant to be in the water. Like we are not meant to be in the water.
I mean, we are in the sense where it's like, look, there are things on land that kill us too, but like, like we don't breathe water. You're right.
We don't.
But like,
we're not designed to live underwater. Like,
we're not designed to live underwater, but I think we are as a people designed to be around water. I do think that is the case. That's why we can swim, and we like eat fish, and like fish are like one of the best foods you can eat, and like that sort of stuff. I mean, like look at the Pacific Islands and like stuff. Like water is the source of life, but in this film, salt water not really, but in this film, it's the source of death. But you are right. It's not our element. We are naturally a weaker, more exposed, and more vulnerable in the water, more than anywhere else on the world.
I mean, do you want to? I don't know. Is there anything sort of specifically you wanted to talk about with the film, or is it sort of more just a general, just the film as a whole was more of what you wanted to talk about?
Yeah. Well, for me, it was more sort of like covering the film as a whole. There are individual scenes, the dolly zoom. I do think that a lot of the shots with the sort of core town are really well done, and I think a lot of the dialogue in between the three in the final act of the film is well done. Although again, 50 minutes of the final act is slightly long. I do think works really, really well. As sort of like individual key points in the film. I like the sort of idea that he can't win no matter what he does. He closes the beach, he loses. He leaves the beach open, he then feels responsible for the deaths of these people. Like, it is a really rough situation for our protagonist to be in. The scene between him and his son while they're at the dinner table and he says, "Give me a kiss." Like, I just really need one. Is beautiful. It's a really, really lovely scene. Ew, two guys kissed. No, but it is a really lovely scene. Yeah, I think that it has a lot of powerful things, but yeah, it was more sort of the film as a whole. Do you have anything specifically, William?
I think why this film works so well. Another thing I want to mention is that this film, if you don't care, I didn't care about the character, like, because I think the characters make the film really.
Yeah.
If they weren't well written and I didn't care about them, I wouldn't like the film. And that's the thing. Spielberg himself has said that when he read the book, he found the characters so unlikable when he was reading the book that he wanted the shark to win and for the characters to all die. And I have read the Jaws book, and I think it's a good book, but the characters are really unlikable in that. Hooper, the Richard Dreyfuss character in the film, he's sleeping with Brody's wife in the book.
Oh my god.
Which is completely omitted from the film, because in the film, Hooper is this just like happy-go-lucky, fun, like he's this kid basically. He's just super excited and just very funny and likable. And if there was a whole subplot with him sleeping with Brody's wife, we wouldn't really care when he gets attacked by the shark at the end of the film when he's in the cage.
Yeah.
And there's like, I don't know why this was so prevalent, but books written in like the 70s and 80s, they just drop the N word in there like it's nothing. Like they just
Yeah. I
drop
mean,
it in there.
yeah,
It's
they do
fucking
that.
weird.
They're like Quentin Tarantino. They just love it. Because
Yeah,
like, haven't you
they just
noticed?
drop it in the middle of it, and just and
Yeah.
no, when it's not even necessary, it's not even like it's not. It's got nothing to do with that. It's just like one of the main white characters just drops it in a sentence, and I was like, "What are you doing? Like, what is the point?"
I
Like, I see people
I
complaining
do.
about like pointless sex scenes now in movies and TV shows, and that's how I feel about
Yeah.
just like the N word dropped randomly in like books from the 70s and 80s. I'm like, what do you do? Like Stephen King, he loves dropping the N word in his books for some reason. It's really weird. Like
Yeah.
I read
I
The
think
Shining and
it's
the N word a couple times. I'm like, what are you
it's
doing?
these and it's these white guys, man. It's
It
these
is, it is,
like
it is white guys.
because
It's
if we were
only
to
white
talk
or
about if we were to talk about filmmakers doing that, there's no worse one than Tarantino because he always casts himself as the guy that gets to say it.
oh,
That's
there's that
hectic.
like that scene
That
in Pulp Fiction, yeah, where he just
I don't
yells at
remember
Samuel L.
seeing the
Jackson
sign that says,
dead,
yeah, I
and
know how
it's just
fucking good it is. My wife buys shit. I spend the big bucks and buy the good stuff. And then
yeah.
he says it in Django Unchained like a lot. And
Does he say? Does he say it in? I know because I know he cameos in it.
he
Does his character
does. No,
say
he
it?
does. He
I don't
says it like that's
remember.
like he doesn't get many lines, and in the lines he says it like twice.
Because
And
I know Leo. I know Leo says it a lot in that film, and was like really uncomfortable saying it that many times.
nah,
Um,
Tarantino loves it.
he does, dude. It's even in Reservoir Dogs where there's no black people. Like Steve Buscemi
Oh
says it
yeah,
in Reservoir Dogs, and it's like, what do you do? Like, there's literally no need for like the films with with like black characters. I'm like, okay, I mean, fine. It's an interesting choice, but okay. But like Reservoir Dogs, there's like 6 characters and they're all white dudes. And Steve Buscemi just drops the N word in a random line. It's like, yeah, it's really weird. But yeah, the Jaws book, it's a good book, but it's also it's not as good as the film is the best is superior because like the ending. I mean, everyone knows the ending to Jaws. The film, they blow the shark up, and
yeah,
it's great. Like it doesn't work. It's not realistic, but it's such a great ending. It's like I don't care. Like it doesn't make sense, but it's objectively a fucking great way to end the film. Like it gives you that stand up in sheer moment you want in this kind of film. Even though they are it is a shark, it's just an animal, but because the way the film has been crafted, it is just like, oh, but that is a great ending though. The way it ends in the book is so much less climactic. Like it's not yeah, it's a very anticlimactic ending. From my memory, basically throughout it they've been sort of stabbing at the shark with like the spear, and they've been shooting at it, and got the barrel, they've got all this stuff, and like the boat sinks, and like Brody's in the water now, and he's just sort of waiting there, and because he knows the shark is going to come and eat him, and then before it gets to him, it just dies from its wounds and just like sinks to the bottom of the
yeah,
ocean. And it's like that's a terrible end. Like you can't do that for a book, maybe, but you cannot do that for a film. Like you can't do that kind of ending in a film because that's just so anticlimactic.
yeah. I agree. I do think that I think that I don't know. I don't mind the way Jaws ends. To be honest, I think the way it ends, it helps me sleep. Um, but again, it's a large reason why I don't watch horror. I just hate that anxiety that
Yeah,
you're given throughout
yeah,
the film.
and we've talked about this a lot. And yeah, you're not a big horror. I mean, I don't know if I would classify Jaws as like horror, but it's sort of it gets your
Yeah, that's
heart
why I'm
going
kind of
though.
okay with saying it. Yeah,
It does get your heart going a bit though, and I can see how like that because it's very tense. Like once they're on like the boat, because they just stay on the boat, like they don't go home. They stay on the boat for like the last for like a good percentage of the film is them on the boat. So it's just sort
Yeah.
of like, I get that, like that being scary because they're just on the boat. Although when I saw it in the cinema, I don't know if it's like that in the original film, but you can see land a bit. But I don't know if that's in like the original film or if that's because it was like a 4K HD like remaster of the show, not the show of the movie. That's why you can see the land. I don't know. I haven't seen like the film like recently enough on like Blu-ray or something to fully formulate my opinion.
Yeah.
But I do like the isolation it creates. I like stories where they isolate characters and they're just stuck in like one location for a film. I that's the kind of thing that I really like about a film is just having the characters be stuck in like bottle like it's a bottle like bottle episodes of TV shows or you know some like The Thing I think is one of the best films ever made and it's just like characters stuck in one location basically for the whole film sort of like I find that kind of thing real when it's done well because that can become so boring very quickly but I think the way the film handles it here I think they do a really great job of portraying that and allowing you to be just invested in what's going on because the film it's just a really fucking great film like I really cannot overstate how good this film is like it's from everything from the direction the cinematography the sound design the score the performances the editing like it's such an incredibly well made piece of
Yeah.
filmmaking and like not just blockbuster filmmaking but filmmaking like, this is the kind of film this film will never date really like this film will all like there are people who are going to be born like this year and you could show them Jaws in like 10-15 years they'll think it's a great film you know what I mean like that's like this is a timeless film I think I don't think it will ever age just at all
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. No, it can't. Well, I mean, what, 50 years young? I do
Mm.
think, yeah. Yeah, and I agree. I think that it sort of exists outside of itself. I mean, Back to the Future references it. Like there, when other
Yeah,
films are talking about your film within
yeah.
that film, it
I
means that
mean,
it's
yeah.
transcended what it means. Like it is Spielberg, like right? We're
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
It's what he does. Like if I was to, jump the gun a little bit because I feel like I've sort of said a lot of my piece about the film.
Mhm.
Um, this baby 9 out of 10. Uh
Oof.
oh,
I I mean, yeah, if you
uh,
think it gets, like, a bit slow like, you sort of
it's a 9.5 out of 10 because really, like where it slows down isn't worth half a point. But I just don't. No, this film's a 10 out of 10. This film's really good. It like in what it does, it does so well. I do think it slows down just a slightly bit, but I think that's also necessary. Like I said,
Mm,
I think that the dialogue that they do is really well done, and I think that
mm.
it needs to slow down. But I do think that it's noticeable, but it doesn't always mean it's a bad thing. So yeah, I give this film a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. I just wanna mention probably my favorite scene in the whole film is the
Yeah.
Indianapolis speech that
Oh,
Quint gives in the boat. I think
yeah.
that's a great I think the whole sort of scene beforehand where they're like comparing the scars, I think that's really great. Like the camaraderie between these three guys just bonding over their scars. And there's like the bit that really made me laugh a lot was when Hooper he like points at his chest and he's like Mary Ellen Moffat or whatever her name is. She broke my heart and he just fucking cackles like a maniac. It's like that's really funny and like just the whole cinema it just laughter throughout the entire cinema in that moment because it's a great joke. It's a really great moment, but then there's the bit where Quint is like, "Oh yeah, I had a tattoo that got removed," and like Hooper makes a joke about it saying "mother" or whatever, and then he says, "No, that was the USS Indianapolis," and then the entire mood changes, and it's just like focused on Robert Shaw giving this like 5 minute monologue, and it's like the best scene in the film, and it's a fantastic scene just in general. Of it's one of my favorite scenes just in any film ever. It's just focused on this performance. It's just shot directly on this one guy monologuing, and it's one of the most enthralling scenes in any film ever made. It's a perfect scene. Like the whole from them doing the scars to the end of that Indianapolis speech is like perfect filmmaking. I would say it is. I'd say that's a perfect scene, and just perfect filmmaking.
I love a great monologue too. Like monologues are so
yeah.
important, and they're incredibly underdone.
Yeah, and I think that, and when a monologue is good, it can be the most enthralling, engaging thing in a film. Of course, and there are also times where it can be super boring, and it's just like, yeah, okay, you can get on with it. But when it's done properly, it's some of the best filmmaking made. I would say, just because there's such a it's such a beautiful simplicity to it. Um, but that's okay. I don't need everything to be flashy and doing so many different things. Like sometimes I do just want to see that is just an actor monologuing for 5 minutes because they great. You can get some great performances out of that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and I agree. I think the monologue, the Indianapolis monologue, is really well done. And yeah, I think it's part of that great dialogue that we get in that sort of final sequence or final act of the film. And I really do wish I could see a lot more monologues, especially in new cinema. Something 5 minutes long, something that I could use, like something that I could have used back when I was in high school for my drama, my HSC drama monologue. Something
Yeah,
give us something on screen because that is typically left for the stage. I remember in high school I did a school play, and I had a 3 minute monologue, and that was the biggest monologue in the entire play. And I didn't actually sign up to do it. The idea of live theater used to terrify the shit out of me.
oh god, yeah.
And I'm pretty confident, but yeah, it would scare me just memorizing lines. I have a pretty awful memory.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
And I learned the monologue and I studied it and I did drama. But the only reason I did it is because the teacher begged me to do it because one of the other kids that was going to do it couldn't do it anymore. And my drama teacher was like, please, please, please. And I was like, no. And they're like, please. And I was like, okay. So it doesn't take a whole lot to twist my arm. But yeah, I did it and I went up and I did the monologue and I thought, I got a standing O, but it was Nimbin, so it doesn't really don't really count. There was 60 people there, but I got a big round of applause for the monologue, and I mean I didn't write it or anything. I just stood out there and performed it. But you practice it so many times, and it's over and over and over, and almost every other bit of what you're doing hits the back burner. The monologue is the most important part of the character if they have that, and the fact that we don't get those anymore, it hurts so much. Because I would really love to see it, but that's me and that's my piece on the monologue.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna give Jaws a 10 out of 10, baby. It's just the perfect film, really. I think watching it when I saw it at the cinema, I was watching it and I was thinking to myself, is this gonna stay because I had this down as a 10 out of 10 on my last watch. And I was wondering as I was watching it, is this gonna hold up? Because there are films that I used to have down as a 10 out of 10 that I've revisited, and I bumped them down because they're still good. They're just not 10 out of 10 good. And I was just thinking, is this still gonna be that? And it is. I think seeing it at a cinema helped. I think that the film, there's so every scene is just great. I'm never like bored by it, even when it gets to sort of the slower moments. There's some really effective jump scares. Like there's one that got my mum and my sister, who I saw it with. There's the head that pops out in the
Oh,
boat.
that is an iconic jump scare, by the way. That is
Yeah.
that freaked me out so much.
Yeah, and that didn't get me personally because I knew it was coming, but my sister and my mum, they jumped and they got really fucking scared by it. Which, by the way, that's also another really great scene in the movie where they go looking for that boat and Hooper hops in the water. Although I would be fucking terrified because it's nighttime and it like the water's all murky and shit and you can't see it. Like that would terrify the fucking shit out of me if I had to do that. Like even during the day and I can't see underneath me, that's scary. But at nighttime, it's already so much worse. But it's just a fantastic piece of filmmaking. It's it's. I mean, Jaws is the reason why we have the modern blockbuster. Like, if Jaws wasn't made, we wouldn't have stuff like Star Wars or anything. Like anything, any major blockbuster in the last 50 years owes some form of a gratitude to Jaws because Jaws made was the highest grossing film of all time and made blockbusters like a thing that the Hollywood blockbuster wouldn't exist without Jaws.
Right? You know what that means? That means it's a 20 out of 0. That's 200.
I mean, we're not really going to talk about the sequels because I didn't rewatch them for this. I don't
I've
even know if
actually never.
I was
I've
going to
never
ask,
seen
have
it.
you actually seen any of them or not?
No, I refuse. It's a principle thing.
I think that's fair. The second one isn't completely awful, but 3 and 4 are amongst the worst films I've ever seen in my life. They're really, really bad. But we're not really going to talk about them because also this is a celebration. It's a celebration, 200 episodes, and we don't really want to sully it with bad films. But yeah, man, it's fucking. I'm 200 episodes. I genuinely am I am surprised I got to 200 episodes. Like, and I'm the one doing this. Like, I'm doing this like every week. Like I am the one who wants to do this. So, I mean, do you have anything you want to say? Like, I mean, obviously you've got your sort of little bit that you recorded that I'll play like once this main bulk of the episode is finished. But I mean, is there anything you would like to say?
I do think that it's just a sort of an ode to if you're willing to just do something, just keep doing it. Like, if you can do it, why not do it? It's something you want to do. Just keep. I've done this 200 times, William.
Yeah.
I've done it, I don't know, probably about 100 maybe. But like,
I think I didn't get enough time to look at who's done the most episodes, but I think I would think you would definitely be the highest. I think Barney is probably around there as well.
I think I've maybe done 70 episodes total.
Yeah, you've
on
done
and off.
Yeah.
Since I met you in 2022.
Yeah.
So
I mean, isn't that crazy that we've known each other for like 3 years now?
That is weird, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we
met
met at uni and then I left that uni. I went to a different uni and
I ended up leaving the uni.
Yeah,
I
did like the first part or you did like
Yeah,
I
went through. I went through. I did my diploma. I got my diploma. They said, "Do you want to stay on for your associate's degree?" I said, "Okay." Continue doing my associate's degree, and then got priced out of it. I couldn't afford it anymore. It was
Yeah.
I had to go get a job basically, and I went and just got the job instead. So I was like, I got my diploma anyway. I really wish I went through. No. I didn't get a job out of it anyway, so I don't know. I don't know if I'm happy that I didn't go through to do my bachelor's degree. But yeah, no, I went through, got my diploma. That uni, yeah, like you can say what you want to say about that uni, but I got a university education technically.
But yeah, I mean, episode 200. I really, if you're still listening, like if you're someone who's been here since episode 1 and you're still listening, thank you. Like, because there's other episodes. They're not great. Like, I'm not I like that. Like, I would be
Basically
happy to
didn't get
redo a lot of those. I would be
yeah,
happy to redo those older episodes. I'm gonna be honest. I'm
feel
not
there should be a concept where we do some of the films that you've already covered and sort of
like,
see how our opinions have changed.
yeah, like some
The
of those.
shows, yeah, I'd say the episodes didn't get good till I got on.
That's about a year's worth of shit content.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm sort of what makes everything good. And you're the narcissist, not me. And I'm so humble.
But the first few episodes, I didn't have like a mic to record with. I used like my laptop's internal mic. I don't recommend doing
Really?
that. I don't recommend
Really?
doing that.
Even you didn't have a pair of wired earbuds? Because some of those mics are really good.
I think I
Like
might
they're a
have
lot
done.
better.
I didn't record through the program I use now to record. We used to record through like OBS or something separate, and the problem with that is the audio would be very inconsistent. Like some episodes, my audio would sound great, and some weeks it would just be the most choppy, like I was yelling across the room.
I've recorded a few episodes. There was a period where I was recording episodes. Wasn't there?
I think there was one where we
I did Bullet
tried
Train.
something different. Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, and I remember there was one we did where we recorded through Audacity. Like we were like you. I think this was the Pleasantville episode. So it was you,
I recorded my audio and you
Bonnie, and
recorded
me.
yours.
We recorded ours on like three separate streams on Audacity, which that was a fucking nightmare to deal with because it was like lining everything up. Like it was a whole thing, and I don't recommend like. I mean, if you can make it work, obviously. But everything sort of, I'm at a point now where like the audio sounds pretty much how I want it to every week. I've got a system in place. But yeah, I mean, if you've been listening since episode 1, or even if you only started listening last week when we did Pain and Gain, which is what everyone wants to hear about, or somewhere in between, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's been listening. Whether you've been here since the beginning, or you've joined at episode 200, which is just interesting, but that's fine because you've got 199 other episodes that you've never heard of, and you can go listen to them. And I just want to say thank you so much, Harry, for doing this, for being willing
I
to
love it.
do the show all the time. As often as you do it.
Yeah, we work around each other's schedules, and but this is something I love doing. I get to catch up with my buddy. We get to talk about movies, and I've always said from the very beginning, I bring a very much simpleton approach to the way I talk about films. There are some times where I'll go into sort of more of the technical, especially about specific films, and when they do certain things with the filmmaking, whether it's camera work or I think Ridley Scott is an incredible shot designer in the way he sort of like produces.
Yeah, you're a big Ridley Scott fan.
But I do think that like a lot of what I say tends to come down to sort of dialogue between characters and how you experience the film as a viewer. And I mean, I get a real opportunity to sort of just talk, and I love talking. I just talk all the time.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, it's not as if I'm doing this out of my way. It's something that I really enjoyed doing, and thank you, William, for giving me a platform where I can talk about, where I can just like sort of spew shit for an hour.
Yeah,
and I can just like hate. I can just absolutely hate Spider-Man 2 and love Bullet Train. We actually covered Bullet Train. That is my favorite episode we've done because it's sort of like a commentary track. It's a commentary track.
Yeah. It's one of the couple episodes I cannot upload to YouTube because there is copyrighted material in it because it's us. There's audio from the film in the audio. So that one
is a Spotify exclusive.
But you can find it on Spotify or Apple like wherever you get your podcast, you can find the show. So just listen to it through that. And by the way, I should clarify when Harry says Spider-Man 2, he means Far From Home.
Yeah. So, I'm so sorry.
Not the Sam Raimi
the second MCU film.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2 the Sam Raimi film, is my second favorite film ever. Sometimes my first, depending on the day. But it is one of the
Yeah,
greatest films
I
I've
just
ever
wanted to
seen in my entire life.
clarify
I actually
that.
was at a
Yeah.
I was at a hotel on Saturday night, and they were showing Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 1 on 7 May, and I was watching it, and I forgot how many fucking ads were on free-to-air TV.
I hate it. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, that's on TV. I would like to watch that. Like
Uncle
even
Ben had literally just died, and they were like, "Do you have acne? Do you
Oh
need?"
my god, yeah, no, it's awful. Dude, even if I catch like a random episode of like a sitcom on TV, there's like 3 ad breaks in like a 20-minute episode of television. It's like, what? I don't want to do I just want to watch this episode of Friends, guys. Like, what are you doing? Just let me fucking watch the fucking TV. Like, it's really irritating. I really find it annoying. But yeah, I mean, thank you, Harry, again for joining me for so many episodes. I'm sure you will join me for more in the future. I don't know like when I'm gonna stop doing the podcast because I don't really want to do it in like partway through a year. I kind of want to do it at like the end of the year or the beginning of the year. And I would also like a round number to end things on. I don't want to end it at like 201 episodes because that would just feel weird. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So it's
it would
like,
feel weird. And as soon as you end this podcast, I'm creating my own called At the Movies with William Fletcher. I'm your host, Harry Jobson. And I'm taking your name, I'm taking your likeness, everything. No, yeah.
But I mean, yeah, thank you all so very much for listening. Thank you, Harry, so much for joining me for this episode.
It's good. It feels good, man.
And yeah, I hope you've all enjoyed listening. And now we're gonna end this episode with a bunch of clips from former guests of the show. Harry is one of them, so you'll hear his clip during it. But there's a bunch of recordings from various former guests talking about their time on the show and what they think of it. So I hope you all enjoy that. And I hope you've all enjoyed listening to this week's episode. And I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.
First things first, I want to say a big congratulations to William and the At the Movies podcast for hitting 200 episodes. I remember it like yesterday when he told me that this podcast was starting, and I can't believe he's hit 200. That's amazing. Congratulations. I have nothing but positive things to say about my time in the few episodes I featured in. It got me to watch movies that I would never otherwise have seen, which I discovered some hidden favourite gems along the way. We had some excellent discussions around not just the movies, but adjacent topics as well. And yeah, once again, big congratulations to William and the At the Movies podcast.
Hi, I'm Josh, and I've been on the podcast 2 times now. And I just want to say congratulations on reaching 200 episodes. This is a major landmark, and I'm glad that I was able to be a part of it. When I went on for the first time in, I think it was November of 2023, that was the first time I ever went on a podcast or anything like that. And so that was a super cool experience for me. And I'm glad that you've been able to grow it out this far and had this much success, and I hope you continue to do so. So I want to say once again, thank you and congratulations.
It's been a joy coming on the show these past 200 episodes. It's been a great 200, and here's to another 200 more. Cheers.
Hey, it's Skylar here. I just wanted to give a congratulations for reaching the 200th episode of your podcast. That definitely seems like a major accomplishment. I cannot imagine hosting a podcast, let alone having one go on for so long. But I've always really enjoyed my times appearing on this show. I really love talking about film in that spontaneous, laid-back format where the conversation just goes in whatever direction, and it's a different kind of inspiration that you get from that spontaneity. And I feel like I always get such a deeper understanding of people's thoughts on films and your thoughts on films, and there's just such a mutual understanding in this type of format. So I've always really valued appearing on any podcast, but yours as well. So congratulations.
G'day, Will. It's Aaron. I'd like to say a huge congrats to reaching 200 episodes, man. That's insane, honestly. I remember when you first started, when you first just said to me, hey, man, I'm starting a podcast. Would you like to do some episodes? Like, it's insane to see how much your channel has grown and developed over the years. And it's just been a wild ride. And I'm glad that I've been a part of it, honestly, man. I've always enjoyed every episode we've done. We always have our jokes and laughs and all that, and you've probably had to edit out a lot of my swearing, a lot, some choice words that I've said. But honestly, mate, yeah, it's awesome, and I'm so glad you've reached your 200. And here's to another 200. And yeah, good luck with it, mate. Really impressed.
Hello everyone, Barney Metcalf here from many episodes of this esteemed pod. You ought to know who I am. 200 episodes, boy oh boy, wowzers trousers. I remember my first episode, Collateral, where we're all deeply amused by Tom Cruise's flawless street talk. So, yo homies, and congratulations on 200 episodes! Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to At the Movies with William Fletcher. I am your seasoned guest, Harry, and I just wanted to say a few words on what 200 episodes means to me. You might hear some noises in the background. Sorry about that. But yeah, 200 episodes is an amazing milestone. That's 4 years on and off of doing the podcast. And for myself, I've been on... wouldn't be able to tell you the first episode I joined on, but I've been on for a little while, probably a couple of years, and yeah, ultimately there's things you could say about the environment, and sort of it being a creative space that we're able to speak with each other and, put my degree to good use, I guess, but it's all in all, the main thing I can say is thank you to William. And not just thank you, but also it is more than just a space to talk creatively about films and give me something to ramble on with the highs and the lows. The highs being Bullet Train and the lows being Spider-Man Far From Home. But it's also about just being able to have an excuse to talk to one of my great mates once a week. And yeah, talk about our common interest and shoot the shit for an hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes, just about certain film, about upcoming films, or about directors or an actor's body of work, and really sort of, not only get a perspective or get a deeper understanding on sort of what these movies mean to us, but it allows us to sort of talk through our thoughts. But yeah, it's mostly, at the end of the day, just a great excuse to be able to chat with William. 200 episodes to 200 more. And yeah, you'll be hearing from me on the next one.